Good morning, moms, Master Books, and extraordinary home educators. I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. Hey, today is Thursday, so we do teaching tips on Thursday. What we're going to talk about today is a mission statement challenge, implementing a mission statement to help power your homeschool. If you're just joining us, be sure to comment. Let me know you're here. Thoughts, questions, we'll be sure to try to answer those, but for a chance to have 2,500 reward points added to your account. Another thing, and I'm not going to do it right now, but I am going to talk about it this afternoon. We have a new book. It's called Dinosaurs for Little Kids. Where Do They Go? This just came in yesterday. I think it was put on my desk, and pretty cool. So this afternoon, I'm actually going to do a look through with that. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about a mission statement. What is a mission statement? Well, in business, it's pretty easy. Mission statement is, it serves as a guide and a reminder. The definition of a mission statement, a formal summary of the aims and values of a company, organization, or individual. Mission statements are those things that help us they set a standard, a criteria, right? So, Master Books has a mission statement, ink on paper to impact eternity. That means that everything we do should have an eternal value or an eternal impact. So when we're talking about our curriculum or a book like Dinosaurs for Kids, we evaluate the text and everything in this book to say, does this help build faith? Does it create eternal value? If it does, then we move forward. And sometimes if we feel that we've turned down projects that we would love to do, but don't feel that they have an eternal impact. And so because it doesn't fit our mission statement, that helps guide us to know what's the best thing to choose. So welcome everybody. I'm glad you're joining me. Be sure to comment for a chance for 2,500 points. And love to hear what your thoughts as we go through this as well. So I believe that it's valuable to have personal mission statement, to have a family mission statement, that type of thing, more for the standpoint of just so that every day you have kind of a reminder of where you're going. Last week I talked about and this happens a lot in the homeschool movement. I think it happens with parenting as well. If we don't have a destination, if we don't know where we're going, it's almost like just getting in the car, waiting for a car to drive by and follow that car and see where it takes us. And while that may be exciting for a while, it can get exhausting to continue chasing cars when you don't know the destination yourself. I use the analogy of when we went to the Grand Canyon and where we were going. We plugged the address into the GPS and we continued to go there. If we got off route, we knew, hey, we needed to get back on route. We're heading in this direction because that's the direction that's going to take us to our destination. So in a mission statement is almost like plugging the address into the GPS and saying, this is where we're going. And if we need to take a detour or we need to get off route for a while, it's okay, because as soon as we get back in, we're going to have the recalculating moment and we're going to be able to kind of get back in the car and see, do we go back to our destination? So the mission statement challenge that I would like to offer for families here is I would like to give you a mission statement. And if you don't have one, a very simple one, and I'll explain, we'll kind of work through this a little bit. But here would be the mission statement, and I'll put a PDF of this up today into the files for a while before the moderators can organize it and everything else. I'll throw it into there, and you can print it off. You can do anything that you want with it. But what I would say for a mission statement is excellence in learning. Now, it's often excellence in education would be something that from a homeschool standpoint would sound excellent, right? Because we're doing education. We're home educators. We do education. But education, definition, the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at school or university. Education tends to be very isolated. So when I say, well, when it comes to what we do as a homeschool family, excellence in education. So everything we do, we're looking at, are we doing this with excellence? Are we doing it with the best of our abilities to educate? And so it's our homeschool room. When we remove the education and we do excellence in learning, we now have the ability to say, everything my student does from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed is a learning opportunity. Do we learn discipline in cleaning the room? Do we learn to help with the meals and to help others? Are we growing body, soul, and spirit? Are the body, the mind, and the spirit? Are we developing in all levels? And so the mission statement, if you don't have one, that I would encourage you to adopt, and I'd even just try this for a week, and let me explain a little bit of the psychology behind it as we go. But to say, you know what, as a homeschool family, our mission statement is excellence in learning. That's what we do. That's what we do, and we do it well. My kids are excellent learners, and we do it with excellence. So excellence in learning is the homeschool mission that we have, and then we begin evaluating body, mind, spirit, what all of the things that we have that we're doing to see how does it fit the roadmap? Like, are we headed in the right direction? So in the case of with body, right? Do we understand the environment that we have? Is it conducive to excellence in learning in our home education? Do we make sure that we have, things are somewhat in order, that we have good lighting, that our students are getting good sleep? As a large family, sometimes those are just simple little things that it can get easy to, two in this room, two in this room, two in this room, and sometimes you have to revisit these things and just say, okay, from a body standpoint, are we getting good diet for everybody? We know that diet affects the ability to learn. So is that something we're doing? Are they having opportunity to play and to exercise? Because studies show that play is important for learning. And in order to be an institution of excellence in learning, my students need to develop at all levels. And so they need good opportunities for play and creativity. Is the environment that we have in our home conducive to excellence in learning? So that's a good place to start. Then we move to the intellect, to the mind, to the soul, and are we engaging the mind? Is it exciting to learn when we sit down at the table and there's an opportunity to discuss and talk and learn and grow? Are we using the opportunities that we have to engage the mind, and are seeing opportunities and things like that? Do we understand garbage in, garbage out, right? Are we a little too heavy on entertainment, a little too heavy on video games, a little too heavy into the things that aren't helping to raise the brain's capacity to learn? Because we know that social media and these things like video games, social media, binge watching Netflix, those types of things tend to take away from the brain's capacity for creative thinking and learning. And so we have to ask ourselves, is the environment that we have for body and mind set up for excellence in learning? And what about spiritual? Do all the resources that I have, do they teach a God-centered education and a relationship-centered education, or do they teach a man-centered? Is it where I am serving, or is it an I am served type of relationship that we're learning about? Because from a humanistic standpoint, humanism puts man at the center. And I think Israel Wayne mentioned this to me at a convention, and I had a hard time almost grasping what he was saying at first. And then it just resonated. In our culture, we're brought up where we vote government officials into office. Now, I'm changing a little bit, so I'm not Israel. If I say something wrong, it's not Israel's fault, it's my fault. But we elect government officials, and they serve us to accomplish our wishes. And so from the time I'm very young, I'm brought up in an atmosphere where I expect my government to serve me and to represent me when they come together. So for an American, it can be a little bit challenging to understand what it means to have a king or a lord who controls everything. And so we submit our property as part of the Lord's kingdom. All that we do is part of the king's kingdom, and we serve him, and we work to serve him rather than him representing and serving us. And so we pray for merciful and gracious kings as opposed to a government that we elect into office to serve us. Do our children understand that concept, that they are part of a kingdom where when you make Jesus Lord, you are actually saying, I exalt you, and understand that you are King of all, right? And that everything that I do advances and serves your kingdom, as opposed to what we're used to is in our culture of I'm advancing my kingdom, expecting everything around me to serve me. And so there's that different concept. So spiritually, as we are learning spiritually, are we learning from the standpoint of we are advancing God's kingdom, the kingdom of Jesus Christ, and serving him, and learning about our King, learning about our Lord and what's important to him, and that everything around us is for his glory, and growing spiritually that way. And we are eternal creatures, right? God created us for an eternal purpose. And so this present space that we have, sometimes I'm always amazed when I see the debate about curriculum and things like that it doesn't matter because, I just want my kids to have an education. I don't want to mix the Bible in. I don't want to have religion and all of this. This is a breath of, right? This is like poof, and it's gone. And then I have eternity. So to neglect the most important part of why I exist, to focus on something that's so temporal, is so short-sighted. It really is. I'm going to work at a career. I'm going to go to college, which is good. I'm going to focus on marketing, which is good. But when I do that, what's going to happen? In a few years, it's gone. I just turned 50 and I'm watching things speed up. Holy cow. Like you get to a certain spot and life just accelerates like woof. And I've heard people say that when I was young and I couldn't grasp it. But now it's like, it's a blur. I can barely remember the years, let alone, like before it was like, well, maybe a day. Now, man, it's just like the years are like a day. It's just going so fast. Well, imagine if my whole focus, it continues to be myself. And then I completely miss out on eternity. So our curriculum and our learning has to be body, mind, and spirit. That I'm understanding everything we're learning about, even family. We sit at the table, we have an argument, we have a resolution. That's a great opportunity that's a type and a shadow of the body of Christ. That's a type and a shadow of our relationship between us and God, our creator. I mean, there's so many opportunities to be able to say, well, everything we experience here is almost types and shadows that we can see in the eternal, right? In the kingdom of heaven. So we can continually be doing excellence in learning through just life experience. So as homeschoolers, we don't need to go to a systematic study in classrooms. We can learn 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We can be looking for opportunities to learn and have excellence in learning. Okay, so James Clear in his new book, the book is called Atomic Habits. I don't agree with all of his premises because it's written from a secular standpoint, and some of it talks about the primitive brain, which I highly disagree with that premise because I believe this is a created brain. It was created all at once. It functions all at once. There is no such thing as a primitive brain, a lizard brain. That is the dumbest thing. It just is. So, but the concepts, one of the statements that he makes is we don't tend to rise to the level of our goals. We tend to fall to the level of our systems. so true. I set my goal at I want to weigh this much, and then I end up never reaching that goal. What I do tend to do is fall to the level of my system, my habits, or my training. So if I'm used to eating junk food and I'm used to not eating healthy, then I go to that level even though I have a goal to lose weight. Or let's say I lose all the weight. What tends to happen is after you've reached your goal, you would tend to go back to whatever the systems were if you haven't developed new habits, new patterns, new systems, new mindsets. And with homeschooling, I think this happens a lot. We start out every year with these high expectations. We have these high goals. But then as life begins to happen and things start to happen, and a Facebook drama happens here, and a family crisis happens here, we fall to the level of our systems. Now, one of the things that we've tried to do with Master Books, what I love about the impact that Kristen has had with Master Books is we've lived a lot of life and seen a lot of those systems rise and fall. So what we try to do is to have an open and go curriculum. So it's very easy if you've missed a month because life happens. And if you've been homeschooling for a few years, you know that sometimes if you have 9 kids and they start getting sick, if mom is pregnant or has a baby, if there's an emergency in the family or something in that nature, school can get messed up really bad really quickly. So we want a system that even if that does happen, if the whole family has to get in the van today, drive to another state and spend time with a relative who's sick, it's very easy to either take it with you or when you come back, just open the book up and say, oh, this is where we were. And so the open and go component, the daily schedule. So if you step away, you come back and it's just like, oh, we missed 2 weeks, but we jump in, right? Here's what we got to do. And we're back on track. We're rolling again because we have a system that helps us keep on track. Also, following the daily schedule helps develop that habit. Some of the stuff like the quick lesson plans. Why? Because we know that when you're hurrying and you're trying to go and stuff like that, you want a system where, hey, if I can do 20 minutes of math and my math is done and I'm staying on grade level, I've met the base system. Now, when life is good, I can take it much farther, but at least I have the base systems in place so that I can continue to move forward and cover things. Quick and engaging lessons, room for flexibility and customization, because we believe curriculum is a tool, it's not the master. And so the moment you become a slave to curriculum, I think you've missed the point that curriculum should work to serve you. And so the Master Books method plays heavily into this concept of the curriculum is a system. Now there's a lot of different things that we pull from: Charlotte Mason method, traditional method, classical method, different curriculum styles that work, that resonate with families, but help you able to build kind of a foundation that you will. And because it's engaging and it's application based and those things which we feel, qualify for kind of that 80-20 rule, 80% of your effectiveness comes from 20% of the activity that you do. So if you really focus on making sure that the 20% of the activity you do is quality and that it's engaging, we see the students beginning to really light up and take it, and they want to do it farther. I can't tell you how many times I laugh when I see these posts of kids who are like, it's Saturday morning, let's do school. And moms are like, no, we need to take a break. And the kids are like, no, we need to keep going, or it's summer, let's continue doing books. Because that's what we see when students become engaged. So what we want to do is, okay, so we have a mission statement, and the mission statement that I'm challenging you with, if you don't have one, is excellence in learning. That's the criteria you have for your students and your family. Excellence in learning. And we're focused not on a systematic study of learning. We're not following cars to destinations where they don't know what they're going. What we're looking for is growth. We're looking for our students to continue growing, body, mind, and spirit, that they're becoming the people that God has created them to be, to accomplish the purposes that God has for them in serving and advancing His kingdom. And so this makes it very easy. It's easy to remember. It's easy to say to yourself, okay, and what we're doing today, like let's say we're at a co-op and let's say there's more drama at the co-op than there is learning. So we evaluate, are we experiencing excellence in learning? If not, then maybe it's time for change. Maybe joining a co-op is the better way to go. Maybe having some extra challenge and raising the bar a little bit is a good way to go. So that's a good criteria. Excellence in learning is what we care about. Is what's happening here going to help us advance our mission statement, excellence in learning? So one of the other things that I've adopted is, and this is newer to me, so I'm experimenting a little bit, but I've noticed that if I set goals for myself, it seems like I just keep setting goals for myself. I keep learning about it. If I change a little bit of the mental word track that I have, I'm noticing a change. So one of the things that I've done is, of course, I'm at that age where I have to start focusing a little bit more on my health. So I've changed, and I say to myself, I'm repeating kind of my mission statement. I don't know if it's a mission statement, objective statement maybe, is I'm a healthy person. I'm healthy physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And oftentimes what I find myself when I say I'm a healthy person, yesterday I went to a restaurant to pick up a quick bite, and I said, I'm a healthy person. What do healthy people eat? Right? Because unhealthy people would say, oh, I need to start eating healthier. A healthy person just eats healthy. And so I instead of choosing a soda, I chose, a bottle of water. And instead of choosing something that an unhealthy person would have chosen, I chose a healthier meal because I'm a healthy person. I'm a healthier person emotionally. So when I come into a conflict, when I say I'm a healthy emotional person, what happens when I come into a conflict is the first thing my mind says is, well, what do healthy people, if you're a healthy person emotionally, what do healthy people, how do they respond? How do they react? And so having that kind of a word track in my brain helps me to process. I'm a healthy person spiritually. And so when I approach the morning spiritually, what do healthy spiritual people do? Well, they grow in their relationship. They grow in their knowledge of their King. And so rather than just studying the Bible because I need to study the Bible more, I'm studying the Bible because I'm a spiritually healthy person. I do what spiritually healthy people do. So using that analogy in our homeschools, to change that track, not to be, I need to be a better homeschool mom, I need to be a better homeschool dad, or I need to do better at homeschooling next year. To just say, you know what, our school, here's what we do. We're excellent homeschoolers. We excel in learning. That's what we do. And we are continuing to do that. That's the destination we have. And everything that we do, we're going to continue to excel in learning. And we're going to create environments, and we're going to create opportunities. And we make choices that help us excel in learning. And stop worrying about trying to be better. Just be. And start where you are today. Don't, tomorrow's pretty much a done deal. There's not much I can do about it. I can't do anything about the words I spoke just a few seconds ago. But what I can do is from this point forward, make sure that everything I do lines up with who I am and what I'm trying to accomplish. So just something that I'd love to hear your input on. I'd love to have you, if you'd be willing to try it over the weekend and give us a little feedback in the group of, hey, you know what? We changed our mindset that we are we adopted the mission statement, excellence in learning, and I began to see my mind start to look for new opportunities or little changes that just helped us fit the mission statement that we have as a family to excel in learning. And I can't say this enough. Comparison is the death of happiness, right? If you get stuck in looking at Instagram and you see these beautiful families sitting in their beautiful schoolrooms doing their beautiful textbooks, and you feel that sense of shame and envy and covetousness, I would just challenge you to call that emotion into check, because what you're seeing is the best of. Very few people, some people do, but very few people want to say, here's all my garbage. What I want you to see is my best. I don't want you to see my morning head. I want you to see my hair after it's been showered and a little bit of hair gel's applied. I want you to see after I've shaved and I'm, my collar before I went in. I want to make sure my collar looks good and there's nothing on my shoulders and it all looks good. And so what you see is not what I see most of the time. When I wake up or I come, I look at my shoulder or those type of things. So don't compare yourself to other homeschool families. Set your own bar and lead your own way. I'll end with a story. Years ago, we had a homeschool business, and I remember we had competition. We were all competing, and I thought, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to create these affiliate programs. I'm going to put it on the website, and we'll sell guitars from Guitar Center, and we'll sell all these different things to homeschoolers through these affiliate programs. It was an absolute bomb. It didn't work at all. But my competitors were watching, and they said, oh, wow, Randy's put all these affiliate links up on his website. It must be worth doing. And so they copied me. And that's been one of my best lessons in business, in seeing people copy failure over and over again. Just because somebody else is doing it or trying it doesn't mean it's working. So for you, set your own goal, set your own destination, and then just go there with everything you've got, right? Let everybody else catch you. Instead of you worrying about catching everybody else and trying to do what everybody else is doing, pedal to the metal, right? You got the destination, you go there, you take your family there, you be excellent in what you're doing. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing or the appearance of what everybody else is doing. You just say, you know what? I know where we're going as a family. Get a little bit of an attitude with it. Attitude with it helps a little bit. It's a little bit of a swagger. It's a little bit of your brand. It's what makes you unique and says, you know what? We do this. We excel in learning. I don't know what y'all are doing, and you're doing all your textbook stuff, and you're doing all this, jumping through all these hoops and that type of stuff. We're looking for opportunities to learn. We put systems in place that help our kids excel in learning, helping them grow, helping them to advance the kingdom of God and to have eternal worth. So that's my challenge. I'll make sure today that file ends up as a PDF that you can print it off, put it on your refrigerator, something, but just begin taking that mindset. And you may say, you know what, I don't feel excellent at this. I don't feel that I'm doing an excellent job. And I would just say, fake it till you make it. That's the best thing you can do. Even most self-help and coaching models will say, yeah, well, if we wait for the moment that we're excellent to do something, we're never going to be there. Sometimes we just have to walk like we're excellent. Sometimes we just have to walk like we're doing an excellent job. Now, I want to make sure that before I end, I say, I fully know that it's the power of Jesus Christ in me that helps make up for my failures, my shortcomings, all of these things. And I'm not in this at all negating that, right? He makes up the difference. With all of my weakness, in my weakness, his power is made perfect and strong, and he's manifest. But I have to play my part here. I have to put my head in the game, and I have to start rising my expectations and doing my part. And this concept of, the Lord has called me to a large family, and some days my house isn't perfect. I don't care. That's part of the culture. It doesn't affect our ability. Scared the tar out of me. That was Aubrey, in case anybody didn't know. Oh, I thought the building was on fire. All right. Thanks for that, Aubrey. See how many shades of red I just turned? I don't even know what to do. All right. Hey, we'll be sure to say hi to Aubrey as well. If you're watching, be sure to leave a comment in the video, and for a chance to have 2,500 reward points added to your account. And later today, I you don't need to watch for a lie, but there will be a video on the dinosaurs for little kids. Where did they go? Book preview. Hey guys, God bless you all. Have a fantastic week. And I pray the Lord continue to help you excel in learning with your students and individually as people. Thank you.